chosen one. While the world drowns in its own chaos, you are still breathing. While others collapse beneath the weight of their wounds and worries, you hold onto something they have forgotten exists. This is not chance. This is not random luck. This is a mark that was placed upon you long before you understood your own story, and today you will finally understand why. When everyone around you fades, you continue to burn bright. There is something within you that the cruelty of this world cannot reach. You have sensed it even when you had no words for it. That power to rise again after falling, to discover hope where others see only ruins, to keep your heart soft when everything has tried to make it hard. This is not ordinary strength. This is heaven's covering. God placed an invisible mark upon your soul. You cannot display it or describe it in easy terms, but it lives there. It is what keeps your spirit clean from the bitterness that poisons so many others. It is what allows your heart to still believe, to still open, to still imagine, even after all the things you have endured. Look at the people surrounding you. See how many are completely drained, not in their bodies. It is something deeper than that. The exhaustion of someone who has made disappointment their whole identity. The weariness of someone who transformed their suffering into a weapon to wound others. The depletion of someone who allowed the world to teach them that nothing matters. You could have become that. You had every excuse. The betrayals were real enough. The heartbreaks were justified. The abandonment cut just as deep for you as for anyone else. But your light did not die, and that was not your doing alone. It was because something inside you draws from a well that never depends on what happens around you. When God marks you as His own, He does not make you immune to hurt. He makes you resistant to soul decay. You can weep, you can question everything. You can walk through valleys so dark you see nothing ahead, but your core does not spoil. Your capacity to care is not poisoned. Your link to what is holy stays unbroken. This is what people sense in you without knowing why. That brightness you carry is not ignorance. It is not because you have never seen evil. It is because evil could not make a home in you. It is because every attempt this world made to make you cruel was blocked by that covering God wove into your being. Think about all the times you should have quit, the moments when you had every reason to become cold, harsh, shut down, the relationships that stabbed you in the back, the hopes that shattered right in your grasp, the ones who walked away exactly when you needed them to stay. Any one of those moments could have ended you. But look at you now, not merely surviving, radiating. And it is not that you fake being fine. It is that something in you refuses to stop hoping, refuses to stop opening, refuses to stop seeing reasons for joy even when surrounded by storms. That is the mark of God active in your life. It is His method of showing you that you never fight these battles alone. The drain is very real. We exist in a world that devours souls, that takes gentle people and hardens them into unrecognizable versions, that changes tender spirits into frozen blocks of stone, that kills the spark in the eyes of those who once knew how to dream. But you are different. You weather the same hurricanes, you battle the same forces, you journey through the same shadowed places, and somehow you emerge carrying something others dropped along the way. You emerge with your soul still whole. This does not mean nothing hurts you. It does not mean you never get exhausted. It means your exhaustion does not turn into poison. Your pain does not twist into violence. Your letdowns do not harden into permanent rage. There is a space between being weary and being destroyed. Weariness heals with time and rest. Destruction is when you forget who you were before everything started hurting. It is when your whole self becomes nothing but a map of scars. It is when you operate from wounds instead of from your true self. You grow weary, but you do not get destroyed, and that is nothing short of miraculous. Do you understand why some people look like they have already given up even as they go through the motions? Because they let the destruction eat their life force. They allowed each letdown to steal a piece of their glow. Each betrayal took a fragment of their ability to believe in others. Each loss ripped away a section of their capacity to hope. And eventually there was nothing genuine remaining inside them. Only the injuries were left, doing the talking. Only the ache was left, making the choices. Only terror was left, constructing barriers. But something else occurred in you. Each time the world reached for your light, something within you restored it. Each time life handed you reasons to shut down, your heart discovered reasons to stay available, not because you are foolish, but because you are plugged into a source that cannot be emptied. This is the distinction between those who journey alone and those who journey with God. The person who walks alone relies entirely on their own supply, and that supply has limits. Eventually it runs dry, and when it does, the real destruction sets in. But you have never walked alone. You never will. Even in the seasons when you felt utterly forsaken, there was a force holding you together, a power keeping your inner world clean, an energy restoring your ability to keep moving forward. That is why you can encounter someone who experienced less trauma than you and find them completely broken. And you can meet someone who was given more advantages than you and find them completely hollow. Because the destruction is not about how much you endure, it is about how your soul digests what you endure, and your soul processes things differently. It has a filter others lack. It has a connection that keeps your essence pure, even when chaos surrounds you on every side. It is not that you are tougher, it is that you are being held up. There are times in your journey when this becomes unmistakable, times when you encounter something that should shatter you completely, a devastating goodbye, an unthinkable betrayal, a crisis with no clear path forward. And you move through those times with a grace that even you cannot explain. It is not that you hold back tears, you cry deeply. It is not that nothing wounds you, the wounds go deep. But something in you refuses to break beyond repair. Something stays intact, even when everything else is falling apart. That is the mark of God. It is His way of guarding what is most precious within you. Your ability to give love, your ability to place trust, your ability to keep faith in human decency even after witnessing human cruelty. And this is the source of your radiance. It is not that you have an easier path. It is that your soul carries more light. It is not that you face fewer problems. It is that your problems cannot extinguish what you carry inside. Look behind you. Remember who you were half a decade ago. A full decade back. Consider everything that has happened between then and now. The goodbyes, the backstabbings, the nights when continuing seemed impossible, the moments when isolation was so crushing you could hardly function. And now, see yourself in this moment. You are still standing. And not just standing. Light still dances in your eyes. Compassion still lives in your chest. You still have the ability to feel excitement about new possibilities. You still know how to laugh. You still know how to care. That is far from ordinary. That is exceptional. Most who walk through what you have walked through build walls so high nothing can reach them. They teach themselves not to feel, to avoid the pain. They teach themselves not to trust, to avoid betrayal. They teach themselves not to love, to avoid abandonment. But that was not your path. You continued feeling. You continued trusting, though with greater wisdom now. You continued loving, though with better boundaries. You refused to let pain transform you into someone you would not recognize. And that was not only your choice, it was God preserving your humanity. It was His mark protecting your heart from turning to ice. It was His presence keeping the fire burning that this world tried to blow out. This is what you must grasp right now. Your glow is not an accident. Your ability to continue forward is not random. Your ability to maintain goodness surrounded by chaos is not your achievement alone. It is partnership with the divine. It is God operating in you, beside you, flowing through you, feeding your soul when scarcity is everywhere, keeping your spirit clean when contamination is all around, keeping your strength renewed when exhaustion fills the atmosphere. That is why you keep glowing while others grow dark. Because your light is not tied to outside conditions. It flows from an inside connection that cannot be severed. And this connection was not something you built. It was something planted in you before you knew to ask for it. It is the mark that God presses into those He selects for assignments that reach beyond the ordinary. It does not mean you are superior to anyone. It means you have been called differently, walk a different road, experience life through a different lens. And that road demands that your soul stay clean, demands that your heart stay open, demands that your spirit keep its ability to be moved. That is why God shields you from destruction. Not because you are special in an arrogant sense, but because there is work you must do in this world that only you can accomplish. And to accomplish it, you must remain unbroken. Consider all the people who once carried beautiful visions, who once believed they could make a difference, who once saw a future full of meaning and impact. Where did they end up? So many are just going through motions now, stuck in routines that drain them, stuck in connections that leave them empty, stuck in existences that bear no resemblance to what they once imagined. What happened to them? They got destroyed. They let the world consume their vital spark. They allowed disappointments to become their reality. They agreed that dreams are childish and life is just about enduring until it ends. But you never agreed to that, even when every sign pointed you in that direction. Even when surrender seemed safer than continued belief, something within you would not allow the light to die, and that something is not merely you. It is God living in you. It is His mark reminding you that you were born for more than mediocrity, that you were crafted for more than just existing day to day, that you carry a purpose worthy of protection. That is why He watches over you. That is why He replenishes you. That is why, when you reach the edge of complete depletion, you discover strength you did not know existed. When you reach the edge of bitterness, you discover gratitude you thought was gone. When you reach the edge of total shutdown, you discover courage to risk opening one more time. That is the mark of God in action. It is His way of communicating that your story is not finished. That road still stretches before you, that purpose still waits to be fulfilled, and He will ensure you arrive there with your soul unbroken. This does not mean the journey becomes simple. It does not mean suffering ends. It means suffering will not write the final chapter. It means each disappointment becomes transformed into understanding. It means each loss creates space for something better. And it means that, regardless of how long the journey takes, regardless of how many storms you must cross, you will reach your destination. With your light still burning, with your heart still accessible, with your capacity to love still alive, because that is the power of the mark of God. It does not make pain impossible. It makes spiritual destruction impossible. It does not stop you from stumbling. It stops you from staying on the ground. It does not remove doubt. It stops doubt from devouring you, and while others surrender, you keep rising. While others grow bitter, you keep finding wonder. While others shut down completely, you stay willing to reach out. Not because you have reached perfection, because you are under protection, not because you cannot be hurt, because you are upheld by something far greater than yourself. And this, exactly this, is what makes you radiant. This bond with the sacred that keeps your soul uncontaminated. This relationship with God that restores your energy each time the world attempts to drain you. This presence that reminds you of your true identity when everything tries to make you forget. So when you wonder why you are still here, why you still have faith, why you still carry hope when countless others have lost theirs, remember this truth. It is not only your fortitude, it is His mark. It is not only your determination, it is His covering. It is not only your endurance, it is His presence renewing you from the inside out. And as long as that bond stays alive, as long as you continue letting God feed you from within, you will keep radiating light. Regardless of how dark the world becomes, regardless of how many lights go out around you, you carry a flame that cannot be snuffed out, because it does not originate from you. It flows through you. And that is the difference between merely surviving and actually living with purpose, between existing and having meaning, between being in the world and being light for the world. This is your moment to recognize this reality, to honor this protection you have been given, and to give thanks for this mark that keeps you whole even when forces try to tear you apart. And to understand that your radiance is not pride, it is evidence. It is visible proof that God watches over those who belong to Him, that He guards what is sacred, that He restores what the world attempts to destroy. You continue shining because He decided your light was too vital to let it be extinguished. And as long as you stay connected to that source, as long as you keep letting it nourish you, as long as you keep honoring that presence in your daily life, you will keep glowing even when you do not sense it, even when weariness is heavy, even when doubts crowd in, because the mark of God does not fluctuate based on your feelings. It is rooted in your identity, and your identity is someone selected to shine in the middle of darkness. Do not let yourself forget this, especially on the hardest days, especially when everything feels overwhelming, especially when loneliness closes in. Remember that you bear a mark that this world has no power to erase, a protection that no situation can cancel, a light that no shadow can overcome, because you are marked as chosen. And the chosen do not shine because their path is smooth. They shine because they are connected to a source that never fails. If this message stirred something within you, if these words touched that place inside you that needed to be reminded, leave a comment with the word mark. So I know this reached the one it was meant to find. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message today, share it with them. Sometimes the right words at the right time can shift how someone sees their entire journey. May God continue restoring your soul. May you keep radiating, and may you never forget that the light you carry is not coincidence. It is calling. Until next time, chosen one.